Storefront commercial doors. What we have here is what they call aluminum style doors. They are framed with aluminum, and they also have the aluminum frame for the glass on the actual door. We talked about this a little bit earlier in the videos about how sometimes they'll install Lexan in here, which will prevent us from breaking it. Very commonly, you look around any district in the city and you're going to find bars installed everywhere. As we showed you in our time trial portion of the video, breaking the glass and trying to break out all the bars and these handles can be pretty ineffective. We have a few different options on these. We can go through the lock, which we're going to show you today. We can gap this open a little bit and we can cut it with a saw. And then we can attempt conventional sometimes if we think we can, if there's a big enough gap here that we think we can spread it and just jimmy it out without breaking the glass. So we have a few different options. What we have here today is we're going to show you through the lock on. These are what the actual lock pieces look like when they're sitting in here in the side of the frame. And you have two different options. You have the dead latch, and you have the hook latch like this. And what we have in here today is the hook latch, and what that does is when it sits into its keeper on this side, it keeps you from being able to spread it and jimmy it open with any type of conventional tools. So through the lock's a real good option on this one today. If you see up top here, it's got a pretty high security shroud on it. Makes it a little more difficult for us to do than some other cylinders. You can see this cylinder that I'm holding here has got a real weak shroud that's easily crushed and pulled out, whereas this one's just a little bit better. So we'll go ahead and show the motions of pulling this out. We'll do this one in a little bit more slow motion and explain it as we go. What we're going to use as our tool of choice is the Rex bar. Looks similar to the old school tools that were called A tools. It's just a little bit bigger head on it, and it's a much better tool. There's a few companies carrying these in the city, and we're working on possibly getting these out, at least to the trucks. What we want to do with this is have a striking tool with it. You can see the curved end of it is what wants to sit flush on the door when we come up to it. We'll take a look, we'll give it a couple strikes, see if this is going to shed our tool off. If that's so, we might have to damage it a little bit. If not, we may sink right behind it. You want to start in a motion that's aimed just a little bit behind so that you hopefully get a bite behind that shroud. And you can see right there it started to bite. So we're already sinking in. This is definitely a finesse tool, and you don't want to pound it in until it starts damaging the blades. We just want to do a couple good hits like that till it's sunk on there nice and tight. And now what we want to do is a couple different motions. We want to go upwards, and you can see that didn't peel it all the way out, but it did pull our shroud back. We want to go left, right, cylinder comes completely out in 3 motions. Now we take a look inside here, and we're looking at the same picture that I'm showing you here on this outside lock. What we want to do is take our tools. We have modified channel locks. If you have your Rex bar, it'll have a little key tool in here like this. Whatever you decide to use. The biggest thing that sometimes can be confusing is which end of your tool you want to use, the straight end or the angled end. If you pull the cylinder out, the easiest way to do it, if you can't remember which lock is which, is what's on the back. When you look at this one, it has just the cam, so we know we're going to go with the angle. It matches up with it. If you pull a cylinder out and it has a stem on it, that means we're going with the flat piece. So the easiest way to double check yourself is to look at the back of the cylinder you pulled. We're going to come inside now. We can see the spring-loaded pin. It's always going to be away from the lock, so we're going to push in and over to the lock. Go in, push it down, we're in the door.